Okay, so we're up to Derech Hashem Ramchal, chapter 1, section chapter 4, section 5, 145. So last time we were speaking about the fact that there were limitations in man's growth. The soul is in a way trapped in the body, is trapped in the physical world, and therefore is limited and can only grow to some degree and cannot experience the consequence of its good actions and bad actions. However, we can get a taste of it here, but the true reward for mitzvah, the true experience of what we have created here, the reality of the world we create for ourselves is only going to be realized in Olam Haba. Here, we're like a pregnant woman, and Olam Haba, that's when we give birth to ourselves. So we have to look at ourselves like we're in the womb of God. We're in the womb of God here. You know, the earth is like the egg, and every human being is like a little seed, and we are trying to grow in that egg. So to the soul is like the seed, and the egg is the body, and we're going to try to grow in that body so that both become one, and then we can give birth to ourselves and be ready for the true real world when Moshe is going to come, is going to give birth to the new world where we can see the new world. Like a baby is in the womb, he hears things from outside, he hears voices, he hears a bas kol, the voice of his mother or father, but then we're born and we come into the world as a complete new experience. So we are like sleepers here, we're like sleeping, like dreamers, and we have to eventually, well, like Yosef who keeps the dreams, like Yaakov who watch over the dreams of his sons and knows it's going to happen. We know the dream of the true reality of what we do is going to be realized eventually in Olam Haba. So that's what we're up to. And he says here, these patterns and restraints about being meaning the human being in this world, they include both positive commandments and negative commandments. The purpose of each commandment is either to allow men to earn is to allow men to earn and incorporate in himself a particular level of true excellence, or to remove an area of deficiency and darkness. So that's the purpose of each commandment. This is accomplished through doing what the commandments require and avoiding what they forbid. So again, we see that here the way he speaks about the commandments, the mitzvahs are like tools to achieve perfection and tools to achieve to stay away from darkness. I'm not here to do commandments just to do commandments. There's a purpose to the commandments, right? So I have a goal. If I just do the commandments to do the commandments, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to happen. I'm not going to learn anything. I'm just going to look religious, but that's not what we want. So, okay. Now, the nature and details of each individual commandment, however, are based on all the aspects of man's true nature and character. As well as that of the necessary perfection. So here he says something very powerful too. He's saying that we all have our own inner world, and therefore every commandment is going to touch upon some parts of me. Man is olam katan, so whatever commandments I'm going to do is going to enable me to fix some part of myself. It's going to enable me to access the more powerful part of myself, and I have to learn really how to do that. It's not that it's magical. There is certain action, that ritual that creates some kind of magic that awakens certain things, but it's not enough. We have to learn how to use the tool. You have medicine. If you don't know how to take the medicine, how to take it the right way or not, it's not going to work. So, okay. The highest wisdom knows all this, as well as the true nature of the purpose of everything that exists. God therefore took everything into account and included everything necessary in the commandments of the Torah. It is thus written, God commanded us to follow all these rules, that he may grant us good. Okay. So if everything is included in the Torah, all the commandments enable us to understand, as well as the world works. The Torah and the commandments are here for us to understand how the system is, the matrix of where we live in, and the true purpose of everything that exists. Why do you have eyes? Why do you have a mouth? Why do you have two legs? And why spiders? Why everything? So we need to understand everything that exists, any concept. Why humor? Why romantic? Why war? All those are concepts. All those are part of things that we have to learn in order to understand, to get to know God. Okay, so he says like that now. Man serves God by observing all his commandments, and the root purpose of this service is to make man always conscious of God and to turn him in God's direction. So we need to have directions in life, right? The first step of coming close to God in the Mesilas Yesharim after the Torah is Torah, and then is Zeirus. We need to be aware, what's the direction? Where am I going? Why am I doing everything I'm doing? Why am I working, breathing, waking up in the morning, going to sleep? Why all that? Because there is that's all going towards being aware of God and going closer to him. So that's what all the commandments are here to help us be focused on. Teach us how to do everything in that direction. The guiding principle is that man must realize that God created him only so that he could have the opportunity to draw himself close to his creator. But this closeness becomes possible only if man overcomes his evil urge, consciously deciding to subjugate himself to his creator and fulfill God's commandments, God's commands. So that's very powerful. It's saying, it has nothing to do with how from you are, has nothing to do with how religious you are. It all has to do with how you're able to overcome your evil inclination. There are people who do all the commandments. Well, technically not. You cannot do all the commands and not have good, meaning fight your evil urge if you do it the right way. But sometimes we think we just do rituals and that's enough. No, we're here to use what we're given in order to fight our whatever darkness, whatever pushes us to be sad, angry, destructive, arrogant, proud, whatever evil or destructive character trait is. Desire, lust, all those things, speaking Lashon Hara, all those things are here. That's the purpose. Those are the qualities we're given, and we should not even fall in the trap to feel bad about those things. those things exist because they're put into us so that we can be challenged with them. So all the commandments and Torah helps us deal with those things and fix every areas in us and around people in the world that that reveal those negative character traits, the darkness, and deal with it and fight it and overcome it. We all soldiers. Man must reverse his inclination towards the physical, conquering his mundane tendencies, but he will be able to do so only if he manages all of his affairs only for the sake of attaining this goal, having no desire for anything else. So that's the purpose, that's the challenge, and we need to be constantly sorry, people coming in and just trying to can't even see everyone. I don't know why, it's strange. But anyway, doesn't matter. But this is very powerful and very important, right? That at the end of the day, doesn't matter how many mitzvot you do, it doesn't matter how much Torah you learn, it doesn't matter what type of life you have. Everything is about being challenged with your character traits. So yes, we get moody and we get angry and we get sad and the things are happening and this darkness and this, light and day and all that, ordeals, struggles, everything is here so that I can face it, deal with it, be challenged with it, and find the best of me, overcome everything that's not comfortable, but that really should be done, right? So it's as if to say, every day you have to go out of your comfort zone to fight all the negative stuff that's preventing you to be close to God. So that's the ultimate challenge. So any questions so far? Yes, no? Okay. So no question. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's clear. It sounds very simple, the truth, but in fact, it's we forget about it. We get distracted. For the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep, everything is a challenge. In fact, that's why the Gemara says that if for 40 days you have absolutely no challenge, no struggle, you have to be very worried. Or you're finished with your mission and you're going to die soon, or God is giving you all the good stuff now so that you won't get olam haba. You get all your reward here. So that means that if there's no actual struggle, and it's a new way to think of it. Yaakov, complained to Pharaoh, the days were evil. He got reprimanded for that. What do you mean days of evil? Your whole life is dealing with struggle. We want the American dream. Oh, the world wants the American dream. Not you, obviously. But the people, we want just to relax. We want to be tranquil. We want to just do nothing, just peace. And well, yeah, that's it's very nice. And we need time to breathe and relax a little bit there and there. But that's only to get the energy to do the job. The job is to work. Avodat Hashem, the work towards Hashem, the work in this world, the work to come close to God. That's a work. It's hard. Work demands effort. What God wants the most? Our effort, our struggle, our sweat, right? That's that and everybody knows. Anybody who works and it feels so good after one experience the reward. That's why we're here in the first place. He could have put us straight in the place of relaxing, not do anything, right? But no, God say, no, I'm going to put you all the way on the bottom. I want you to climb up. Anything you can climb up, anything you're going to fight, anything you're going to struggle and wrestle with, that you're going to acquire. That's going to be yours. So how much you want to acquire? So sometimes I say, oh, my struggle, I'm worse, like I have so much struggle. Well, you're lucky. You know, I mean, we have to be sensitive, obviously. It's not, I'm not saying it's easy. We all, when we're in the darkness, we don't feel like that. When we're in the darkness, we don't feel the struggle is exciting. When in the darkness, we just don't want to deal with it. So it becomes very challenging to actually fight that darkness. In a way, it's as if to say that I have to be so conscious in me. I have to have such a desire to come close to God that I want that when I come into the darkness, I'm not bothered by it because I'm so focused. I'm so aware of the goal. I'm so aware that my job is to come close to God. So it doesn't matter what type of darkness. I'm going to have to go through the darkness. There's no day without a night. There's no 2 days with a night in between. I know I'm going to go through phase of darkness. And the whole idea is to be prepared, because where do we fall the most? When the dark things happen. Of course, because that's the whole war. This is where we're here. If we have no problem in our lives, we're going to be bored. The whole excitement of life is there's drama and problems. And my job is to deal with those problems, the problem in myself and in the world. That's what we're here for. That's the work. That's Avodat Hashem. So the key again is to be able to be so aware that that's my job. That my job is to struggle with darkness, right? Just that statement. We don't think like, oh, you know what? I'm here to have a good job and to be a good person. Yeah, but that's childish. I'm here to fight evil. I'm here to fight the darkness. I'm here to struggle. I'm here to constantly have to work on myself and to stretch, and it's not going to be comfortable, and it's going to be annoying, and I'm going to become moody. Yeah, that's life. That's the real fight. That's where the efforts are going to come. That's where the reward can take reality from. When the potential can become reality. So. And we have to say that the baby in the mother's womb is, is struggling. Well, the main struggle is that it to come out, I guess.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So you add a lot to your class about pleasure, and that's why you were put into this world mostly. Obviously, you speak about how there's levels to the pleasure and what pleasure we're supposed to have, but it's kind of a contradiction to what you're talking about now, that we're here for the struggle, we're here for Avodat Hashem. It's kind of contradicting the whole pleasure thing.
Yes, very good question. So the idea is not that, right? The Gemara says that every pleasure that God created and you didn't experience it, you're going to be reprimanded for it. You're going to have to make an amendments for it. So you're responsible to experience the pleasures of this world. But the pleasure that you experience is the love, the light, the energy that's going to be the strength to understand that actually God loves you, and that you need that light to then go into the darkness. In order to go out and do my work, I need to eat and have the energy to go. So God allows us to recharge. It gives us samples of pleasure. You know what it means to have pleasure. You know what it means to be happy. And He gives us those pleasures. When we get that taste, we get excited. It's like you give to a child a lollipop before, if you're going to go with that work, I'll give you a lollipop. You're going to taste it. And if you finish the work, you're going to get 20 lollipops. So you get the taste of the law, you go, wow, that's the pleasure, that's the taste of it. Wow, I mean, it's greater than that. Okay, great. So we have to take whatever pleasure God gives us. There is a lot of pleasure. Plus, we shouldn't want to minimize the fact that the struggle itself can be pleasurable, right? The people who love to work, we have, actually it says in Pirkei Avos, love work. You have to love work. You have to learn to appreciate it. That even though it's hard, you know you're growing. Someone who goes at the gym and makes the muscles and he starts to pain, he's sweating, it's like, but he enjoys, he sees that this work is part of the growth, is part of the challenge, and you can even get pleasure from that, right? So and that's the level, the highest level is when I achieve the level of experiencing Yisure Ahava, where I know that even the challenge, the darkness that God puts is actually also from love, because he is challenging me to the max so that I can stretch myself to the extent that even the darkness he sends me, I see it as light. I see something pleasurable, meaning pleasurable to have to go through that and to have trust in Hashem. I'm expanding my complete emunah and bitachon in Hashem. And I must tell you that from all the days of my life, the days where I was the happiest as a human being is the days where I was working the most on my character traits, and I was able, or I went into dark places and I was able to come out of it and work through it, and those made me the happiest. I felt so good that I'm working through that I'm going out. Again, the idea of giving birth to yourself. So it's not a contradiction. It goes together. It goes together.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for the great question. Okay, we have a question from Mrs. Rosenberg. My thought process was that if I want to be able to do the mitzvahs to get close to Hashem besimcha, I wasn't taught that it will only be through struggle. No, so yes. When I mean the struggle is you are doing besimcha because you know that this struggle is going to give you, make you greater, right? Which is just the same example as the bodybuilding. Am I going to the gym depressed? No, I'm going to the gym so excited because I know that work, which is real hard work, is going to be sweaty and painful and sore muscle, but I'm excited about it because I know I'm going to be, built up, right?
Is it only through struggle that you can grow? That was always my question. I don't.
Yes, it's a struggle. Yeah, that's this world is for struggle, and it doesn't mean, again, there are different levels of struggle. A struggle can be as simple as saying no to the cheesecake or Coca-Cola and choosing between Coca-Cola and water. That's a little struggle. But you can have pleasure that you have that struggle, that you overcome that thing. Now, there are also, I think it comes together. For example, kids, or let me think, better example. You can, when learning Torah, right? So you have the struggle of spending time learning and reflecting and thinking, but when you're able to go through that, then at the end you're able to, so you enjoy the learning experience, but it's a learning experience that you need to put effort and time in it. But then through that, you're going to be able to have an experience of God that is higher. So yes, but the struggle doesn't have to be necessarily bad. You can live your life with tremendous amount of struggles all across, throughout your life, and still be very happy and still enjoy that struggle. But again, everything, God doesn't give you a struggle that you cannot overcome, meaning that there's always going to be a light, the refuah before the makkah. Okay, God is going to give you a makkah, but He gives you a refuah, the way to access. So you need to be able to attach yourself with Ahavas Hashem, Yiras Hashem, and all those positive traits. You even though your kid is going to give you so much struggle, you know that there's good that came before with that kid. You love the kid already inherently, right? So you know God loves you. You know. So there's positivity already at first that we experience. You cannot start from the darkness completely. You have to start with something positive. God wants to love you, to love yourself. God wants you to love Him. God wants you to experience positive, to understand that God gives you everything you need when you eat. So all the basic needs we have. But it's once you leave home and you go in the world, you're going to be filled with constant struggle. It's easy to stay home with Tati and Mami, but once you go out, that's it. There's no more rest. So we have a period of time where we stay home with parents, where Hashem gives us, I had times when I was in yeshiva, or times where I was, close to God, so to speak. And then go walk on your own. And then there's constant struggle. But because how much you have appreciated the pleasure of before, that's how strong you'll be in the struggle.
Is there a sefer that prepares you for this? Like, is there something that you learn as a child where that this is something that is discussed and?
Yeah, actually, it's a very, very, very good book. It's called the Torah.
Yeah,
it's a bestseller.
It says Adam Umal Yulad, but you really don't get it, and you just get. And people, I think, are getting very shocked at their challenges that they don't expect. It's like, what's this? I'm an observant Jew, and I try to connect with God, and now I'm getting hit with this, hit with that. And if you're expecting it, and you prepared for it, then you just learn how to navigate it.
It's
and
true.
You go over it. But if you're not prepared, you get like thrown off your feet.
Absolutely. No, I think it's
so can you read for preparation for that and to learn how to navigate that? And the best, it was like the targeted place where you can learn, and teach your children perhaps that, this is what life's all about. And it's not shocking when something goes, strange on you, right. and you're just gonna navigate it because Hashem is with you. This is the kind of teaching I was never taught.
Right. So it's a very good point, and maybe Shoshana will testify on what I'm saying. That Shayna, sorry, that we really, when is it that we can handle it? That's when we get a trauma. Our brain and our emotions are not prepared enough for whatever is going to come, and we get traumatized. The more you're prepared, the more that's why you go to the army. They prepare you, and you have to be psychologically and emotionally healthy and balanced. And even with all that preparation, you still, not everybody, some are able to make it, they're very resilient, and they're able to take the darkness, but some are not able to do it.
I wonder if it will be more accurate to say that the trauma will happen either way, meaning we all experience trauma. Right. I don't know if it's the preparation of the fact that once you know it's a trauma, that's not traumatic. Like it's brain impact of the sudden. So I don't know it depends what type of trauma, but I'm saying maybe it's the preparation is the learning the skills and the kelim and the midot that you prepare. So then once you do, you are affected with traumatic events or very painful difficulties or struggles, you'll have the skills to handle it correctly.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's true. I think that's true, and that's why we have stories. Again, it's always stories. If the fact that we have stories, that means it's really rare individuals like Baal Shem Tov or Reb Zusha, or who went through crazy, challenging things and were still able to handle it on a level that most people can't. But because they had so much more preparation, they had work on their character traits and on or infuse themselves with the understanding of how the world works so much that they'll be ready for, more ready than most people, let's put it that way. That's maybe the concept of those 36 hidden tzaddikim who are constantly ready to receive anything that happens and accept it with love, so that the flow of love in the world from God, of goodness, still coming, and they're able to understand that it's actually all good. Any struggle is good for me, but it's not comfortable for the body, and emotionally it's hard if we don't accept it in the mind. So it is the Torah creation. You're right. We're not trained like that. We're not trained. We're saying, yeah, your life will be good, everything will be fine, you know, we're here, don't worry. No, this is one of the first things I tell people who get married. The first principle you have to know when you get married, you're gonna have problems. And because they say, yeah, you're gonna get married, it's gonna be a wonderful life. No, it's not gonna be a wonderful life. It can become a wonderful life, it can be an amazing life, better than anyone else, but you're gonna have to fight, you're gonna have to struggle, you're gonna have to deal with it, you're gonna have to stretch and accept and work at it. And that's gonna be the real wonderful life. Again, that's why we're in this world. This world is the world of work, and it's true. We should really teach our kids differently. We don't want to be pessimist, but we want to be not too optimistic. The best way to be optimistic is to go out in the world with all the weapons and with all the training necessary to tackle relationship, to tackle nature, people, influences, negative character traits, temptations, all that. And that's what the mitzvot are supposed to prepare us for. But the fact that we're not trained properly in mitzvot, meaning that we have no idea how the mitzvot relate to us, we're not taught how this mitzvah helped me improve these character traits in most cases. Therefore, I'm obviously not prepared for whatever is to come, because being from doesn't prepare me for what's to come. It's what changes me inside, my work on my character traits, my balance in me, that's going to prepare me for whatever is going to happen.
Doesn't the Mesilat Yesharim start with a paragraph talking about how the whole world is just suffer? And
Yes, absolutely. I was thinking of it, and I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah, he said. I
think that's like a book that, Mrs. Rosenberg, you were asking about where can we learn it. I think Mesilat Yesharim, very bluntly states that this is what is life all about, and then the whole process of, the different stages is possibly what I'm understanding now is in order to develop those skills to deal with this type of life.
Yes. No, absolutely, and I think that's the key. People don't necessarily look at the book Mesilat Yesharim like that, but yeah, the whole introduction, the first chapter, he speaks about how the world doesn't make sense as it is. Like, we come in this world and we experience more suffering in our life than good. Like, how does that make any sense? Yeah, because this world is the preparation. You prepare something, there's work. There's no something. If you want to have something on Shabbat, you need to cook, you need to work, you need to prepare the house, you need to clean, and then a woman knows what work is, because she is preparing the whole house. So in a way, you have to be more female than male in order to understand that concept. The woman struggled for 9 months and then gives the baby. This is a whole crazy work. The man puts a seed up, that's it, I'm done. I'm just waiting for the baby to pop out. Yeah, but he's not nursing.
But I feel like to get to that level of enjoying the challenge and knowing that you're here for the challenge and actually accepting it, you have to be super detached from physicality, which none of us are. And if we were, that would be fanatic. And we already spoke about it a few times, that's not the way, we're looking to live the balanced life. And can you actually get to that level of actually accepting the challenge and knowing that's what you're here for, and this is just the preparation, but still not being super detached from physicality?
Yes, yes. I mean, of course, it has to be that way.
Was it clear?
Yes, it was very clear.
Okay.
I think, Shana, you want to say?
Yeah, I'm a little confused. Do you mean like the only way you can actually accept challenges can only come in a way of being detached from physicality? Is that what you're saying?
So a bit more, I feel like in order to be on the level that the rabbi is talking about, the level of actually knowing that that's what you're here for, and this is just the preparation, and yes, we're here for the challenge, and this is life, and being kind of not negative, but really knowing this is what life is. You have to be kind of detached from physicality and not, too involved in it, which you can if,
But I think, I mean, like it was mentioned, that's really the ones. What rabbis you were mentioning that they were in this high level, that they really accepted every physical challenge.
Yeah, people like Gamzuli Tova, the Baal Shem Tov, Reb Zusha, people.
Yeah, but those people weren't really involved with Gashmiut and,
No, they were. So the key is to realize that even the physical world is very spiritual, and you are involved in the physical, not as much. Again, there's a percentage of how much you need to be involved in the physical and how much spiritual, and it's going to be gradual for everyone. We need to get connect to the physical to as much degree that is necessary for me to stay healthy and to have a balance. But how much vacation I need, how much food I need to eat, how much physical pleasure I need is going to be depending on each individual on how much he needs it. So there is a balance, right? We want to reach the level of Shabbat, where yes, we eat a little bit more delicious thing. We spend more time involved with the physical than the week, so to speak, in terms of resting and enjoying being with the family or whatever physical experience we have on Shabbat. But all that is directed toward the spiritual. So we have to, each one has to find its own balance. Some people, they cannot learn all of Shabbat. So what do? Okay, they play, with my kids, I play a board game, or I do different things. So do I need to be involved in that? No, but for them, they cannot learn all day. So therefore I spend time with them doing physical things, and that becomes my my challenge and my balance that I need to do in order to have my kids, or the balance that my kids need in order to
so basically knowing that some physical things that you need become basically spiritual.
Yes, absolutely. That's really the key. You said it. And that's the whole thing at the end of Mesilas Yesharim. Say, what's someone holy? Someone holy is someone who is not bothered whether he's involved in spiritual and physical, because for him, it almost becomes the same thing. For him, eating at the table on Shabbat is nothing different than to be doing korbanos in the Beis Hamikdash, or meditating and elevating the world through his meditation. It becomes as much spiritual than the physical. And you can enjoy, therefore, the physical on a very high level because it's connected to the spiritual.
Thank you. And thank you, Shana.
Mm-hmm. Sure, thank you. It made me just think now in terms of, like, in essence, it seems like that once you appreciate the physical world in such a way, just like you're explaining now. So then, in essence, the pain, which is a physical pain, we sense it very physical, either if it's, physical pain, literally, like an illness, or emotional pain that we do experience also in a physical way. It's really also, in essence, spiritual.
Yes, that's a very good point.
I think that's what allows you to see it that way, and then really, it's the pain and the pleasure is the same.
So because it reminds me of a bit of a. You have kids, for example, who get abused, right? And unfortunately, and they will cut themselves, and the cutting themselves will give them a pleasure. Now, how is that give a pleasure if it's actually painful? Because there's intertwinement. It's in human psyche, so to speak, or that pain and pleasure are intertwined, and pain actually can become pleasure. And when we're in a trauma phase, we're not able to recognize. I guess it gets mixed up. But there's a way where you enjoy the pain. It's not they're not how to say opposite. Right.
I actually just listened to a TED talk on over there. He spoke about the research that's being done when a person ate pieces of chocolate. So they were testing like what's going on in the brain, and after like first piece of chocolate, it's pleasure, then 2 third, and after the 5th piece of chocolate, the person felt pain, like sick. But in their brain, the same neurons were transported, and really the brain sees pleasure and pain in the same way.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating. So here you go. It puts the things, pieces all together. Yes. So, and I think that's why someone can achieve Yisuri Ahava in even the worst condition. I mean, how many stories of people in the Holocaust who were able to, even they went through all that crazy, unimaginable suffering, were able to still attach themselves to God. They were able to translate, so to speak, all that suffering into a type of Yisuri Ahava. I mean, it's hard to describe. We cannot really understand it on our level, but that's really what they did. That's really what they were able to do. And I think, you know, it sounds almost a bit crazy. You know, you have people who like to have pain. Again, there's a negative also, someone who can be traumatized and just wants the pain instead of, because connected to attachment theory, someone who only saw, let's say a parent abuses. So you get pain, but that's the source, same source as the pleasure that they were supposed to get. So now they're looking for that source of pleasure still through painful ways that they had experienced. So it's
so sometimes physical pain could distract you from the internal emotional pain.
Yes, you're right, and most of the time, even, I would say it's we do it physically, so we don't physically is easier than emotional pain.
Although people who self-harm do express that experience as being pleasurable. Sorry.
You muted yourself.
Sorry, I'm saying that very often people who self-harm describe that experience as being very pleasurable. And it seems like in essence they're looking for something, but they're using the other part of the spectrum, meaning like the physical pain rather than the spiritual pleasure. Because maybe they're not aware of how to achieve that.
Right. Yes, that's very very true. So yeah, so that so all the, I think, thank you everyone. That was perfect. It puts everything together. I had no idea that we'll go speaking about that, but you know, God knows what He's doing. So yeah, so I think it's a very powerful, important thing. You know, if we could have that as a key in us, and really we have to we change the entire way how we look at life. I know my life changed completely the moment I understood that I'm here to struggle. I'm here to be challenged. It's not that every day has to be the most perfect, beautiful day and sunny. No, I have to learn to be as in a happy mood when it's sunny outside and then it's rainy. If I hurt myself, I have to be able to understand that it can be as pleasurable as me growing, because this is what I'm here for. It's a mission. We're on a mission here to do that. And we as Jews, we're the climax of that mission. The world has to see how human beings affect the world or affected by the world and their relation with Hashem through the Jews. So we are the role model example of that. Suffering leads to, you know, to growth if necessary, if necessary, right? Again, not every suffering, we're not here for suffering, but when there's something called purification, we're not able to do tshuva, we're not able to heal ourselves, God has to sometimes bring more purification through things that are not expected, and we're not always ready for that. But yeah.
Sorry, I just want to ask if that would be correct to say that we're here to experience pleasure. Sometimes we experience that pleasure via pain, and sometimes we experience that pleasure via what we do experience as actual pleasure, either through connecting to God or through connecting to ourselves or through giving or all those like different aspects. Like, I think that goes back to Rachel's question, like, is it really a contradiction or not? So if we are here just to experience pleasure and we understand pain in a deeper sense, so then it's really that we are always experiencing pleasure just through different experiences, which sometimes are pain.
Right.
I really hope the answer is not yes.
No. And I'm not sure how to answer it. I think that yes, the purpose, the Ramchal says we're here to achieve the highest possible pleasure. The
Right.
highest possible pleasure is only achievable through. Well, I think that's what it's going to depend on. How much do you want it? What's the level of pleasure you want? The more you want a high level of pleasure, the more you will have to go through an amount of struggle. With great power comes great responsibility. So yes, if you want to achieve the highest level of pleasure, you have to know there's going to be some pain and difficulty and struggle involved. It's the whole thing with the non-Jews. The non-Jews didn't want the responsibility. They didn't want that because it comes to what happens, you know, if you do an avera, you do something wrong, you have to pay very hard for it. And the non-Jews didn't want that. They rather have a more, just 7 commandments, a more lenient way to live life, even if at the end, I don't have as much pleasure.
So the answer is that the pain is not part of the pleasure, but beating the challenge is a pleasure.
Right, yes, yes. Right.
Sorry, we just said that actual pain could be pleasure.
Yes.
Oh, so it is different.
But I think it depends, what type of pain. Meaning, you can have someone like, I think it's a madriga. You can come to a madriga where absolutely every pain, yes, it can become pleasure. I mean, that's the level of Nachum Ish Gamzu Letova, or where they felt, no, everything is good. Everything is good. Everything that happened has a reason. If everything has a reason, everything is good, then I have pleasure from it. Doesn't matter how painful. There are people who can handle pain more than others. And
so the difference in madriga is if the pain will be like a kli, or like what you have to go through in order to achieve pleasure, and a higher madriga is that the actual pain is pleasure. Would that be correct to say?
It's a fine distinction. I'm not sure. We have to have someone who really has had, who knows. I don't know. I'll ask my Rebbe what he thinks. I'm not sure of the answer. It's a dangerous thing to answer because I think it's a very high level to say that we're here for. It's, I don't know, to say that pain each time can be expressed as pleasure. I don't know if we can say that, because part of the purification is to go through the pain. So I don't think that every cases we can say that pain is meant to be experienced as pleasure, right? Right. Okay, but it's a deep. It's
the question of Yisurim Chaplim, which over there it's not for the sake of actually enjoying them, but rather accepting them.
Right. Right.
So it depends what type of pain.
It's two different types of pain. I mean, there's that story from I forgot which Tana, who was in Gemara Brachos, who was suffering and really, really sick. And I think it's Rabbi Meir who came to him and said, "Give me your hand." Say, do you And you're not happy? Do you want this suffering? And I say, I don't want this suffering. So he took his hand and he healed him on the spot. And the idea is that God doesn't want you to suffer for others or like take upon yourself the suffering of the world if you're not ready for it. It has to be something that you can be mekabel be'ahava. So again, these our own personal struggle and suffering, and there's the world's struggle suffering, which is another level. I think there are many levels. At the end, yeah. Bacheli?
No, I was just going to say thank you for letting us make it a whole discussion, and that's it.
Oh,
I hope it's okay with everyone else.
Yes, you're welcome. I think it's so important because I think we all struggle with that. It's and it's not taught enough. It is essential. If we could deal with every struggle, if we knew how to respond to every suffering or struggle of life, we will be able to be happy. Really, we'll be happy. And our unhappiness is not knowing how to handle the situation. And I think that's maybe that's the trauma. We're completely unbalanced and we don't know how to react, and we do weird things to feel good again, but they can be destructive. We have to find the balance to be able to accept the struggle and deal with the struggle in the most positive way. But just the idea of knowing that what comes your way is ultimately part of your growth and your struggle, I think already changes everything. Meaning, I go through my day, I'm not expecting just pleasure. No, I'm expecting to stretch. And I know you can be in the situation where you getting upset, so someone is pushing my buttons, and as I'm getting upset, I'm saying, oh wow, that's amazing. Now I get an opportunity to actually deal with my character traits and improve and control it and become better. You can get excited as this is happening, but you need to be extremely aware and not be caught by your emotions that are going to make you forget what your vision is. So you need tremendous clarity, tremendous clarity about the fact. So
we still didn't say for sure how we can define each pain in terms of the purpose of it. Right.
I think, but I think he's going to speak about it later. I mean, obviously it's the Ramchal, so he's going to address everything. But when he's going to speak about providence, Hashgacha Klalit, Hashgacha Pratit, he's going to go really into that. The real answer probably is even more in the book of Das Tbunos that the Ramchal writes, because it's all about darkness there. But by definition, this world is darkness in comparison to God. There was only light at the beginning. What did God do? Darkness, meaning a world where there is already confusion and struggle. And the whole key is to go back to light. Therefore, the more you bring light here, the more you'll be able to bring light to your body. Imagine that your head is God and your body is darkness, so the world. So you are in charge here to try to give to your body, to your heart, to your emotions, to your instinct, to your physical needs, enlightenment, so that they can be turned also into light and elevated. So the body, the physical, representing the physical world. So by giving direction to my physical experiences, I'm able to transform it all into spirituality. It goes back to what we're saying, like Shabbat. I transform it all into light, into pleasurable. Even though I have to do those physical things, now that physical things is pleasurable. It's the same, again, I love that example. We have two people carrying stones. One, a huge pile of stone in his back. One is frustrated and angry that he's carrying the stone. The other one is dancing and so happy, even though they have the same weight. Why? Because one knows that there's diamonds in his bag, and the other one thinks it's just regular stones. So the one who knows he has diamonds, he has no problem carrying the load, and even if it's painful and all that, he enjoys the pain because he's able to endure. But he's happy he's going through that struggle because he knows he's going to get diamonds. The other one is not knowing that is completely destroyed. What life is about, what's the point of carrying this thing? It's heavy, there's no point. That's just a lack of clarity. The second, it takes a second he knows these diamonds in there, he's gonna switch. So I didn't know that, right? So it goes from darkness to light just in a split second. It's just really having total clarity. And that's what the Torah is really learning. And that's why we need Kabbalah and depth of understanding of what life is to be able to see deeper. You see deeper, everything changes. Our perspective on life changes. And we're able to deal with almost anything. So, B'ezrat Hashem, soon by us, we should only experience pleasure, even from our greatest struggle. And God willing, will bring light into the darkness, will change the world. All right, thank you everyone for coming.
Amen. Thank you.
This class being amazing. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.